Hi, welcome to Andrew Buckle book review of Captain America, Omnibus, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, as well as a slight variant of Volume 4. So I'm just going to go through them now. Volume 2 and Volume 3 have just come out. You should be able to pick them up quite easily. And I think there's also a volume of this one. I'm not certain, haven't checked. Got this one in an estate sale. It was one of those ones that I thought, oh, you know what, must get that because it wasn't available at the time. So really pleased I got this volume. Super thick, excellent with some great stories. Now, of course, you can see on the back there, you've got all the Tales of Suspense, and that was issue, whatever it was, 59. Forgotten. I think I was thinking 60 for some reason. Issue 59 when you got Captain America. And, of course, you got our Iron Man as well in that. And all the way through. And then, of course, when it changed over and we ended up with obviously just Captain America in his own comic, and that's 100 to 113. So you've got some great stories. Now, I used to have these in the Epic collection. They were brilliant in Epic. Omnibus, also excellent. So let's just go through the various omnibuses now. You can see a variety, obviously Jack Kirby, loads of other people involved. And you can see the long list of all the stories. Some real classics in this. I love those early stories. Really great. You've got Rick Jones there. And I must have been slightly confusing when I first came to these stories. There was a lot of stories because I got the king size first. And the king size, unfortunately, was all set in the war. And I thought, hey, this is weird. These stories don't make sense. It doesn't seem like the war comics. But at the same time, we got all these. So you've got here Sumo story there. The origin of Captain America. I think that was the sort of one that I think was turning up. So it just sort of slightly threw me. I thought, what's that? Don't understand that. Because, of course, we've got black and white comics. Captain America was in the Avengers, but I can't recall Captain America particularly being in any of the ones like Terrific, Fantastic. I'm quite certain they were completely missed for some weird reason. Likewise, the Mighty World of Marvel and also Spider-Man, all those sort of ones, didn't really feature Captain America for quite a while. I think it was probably the Titans or something when it first appeared. Then you've got Captain America there. You've got, of course, Hitler and all those sorts of things. You obviously battling away, and of course the stories often went back to the wartime period, and some more there, sort of like Sergeant Fury kind of thing, and some more wartime stories. So there were lots of wartime stories in those early ones, and of course you got the good old, I love that, the Sleeper. That story, the Sleeper stories, turned up a few times, and of course Batroc as well in this. Obviously the Leaper, the mighty Leaper, and of course you've got the good old Red Skull. I mean, they were just classics, the Red Skull ones. I loved those Golden Age ones with Red Skull as well. I'd love to see a collection of all the Golden Age Red Skull ones. And, of course, the classic story that came about, the Cosmic Cube, which, of course, then ended up Thanos as well as the Infinity Gauntlet, etc. So some great stories. The Adaptoid, of course, who was obviously powered by the Cosmic Cube. I don't think it actually was sort of referenced at that point, but obviously maybe retrofitted for that. Still, loved it. And of course, there's the Adaptoid there again. It was one of those weird characters I always thought should win. But I suppose a bit like some of the ones that Justice League of America faced as well. So, obviously, it's great to have a character that's got all the abilities of things. A bit like the Heroes series where obviously Sylar got all the powers. So you got there the secret. And on to the next story with this one I loved. Gil Kane. Absolutely brilliant. I loved his artwork. Always a fan of Gil Kane's work. Men shall call him traitor. Red Skull again. Red Skull turned up quite a lot. He was definitely super regular, like Batman and Joker. You've obviously got Captain America and the Red Skull. And obviously some more stories here. And there's some great stories all the way through. And this one was always weird. Sid Shaw's. Sid Shaw one, really baffling artwork. I mean, I quite enjoy it. I'm not saying I didn't, but it was one of those weird ones, inking by Sid Shaw. It really changed things. It really sort of like completely different, but still great tales again. Red Skull there, and on to another couple of stories here. And let's go on to now. These of course got some extras, which are always great. Always love obviously there the Not Brand Eck. And what's this? Don't know. Oh, that's the ex-library of Gary Leach. Quite nice to keep that in there because it was one of the estate sale. And on to Volume 2, which has just come out. I've read a few of the stories. I mean, I've read all the stories. Read all the stories over the years. Of course, I had the Epic collection. These ones are great. Now, of course, as always with Marvel ones, they are quite glossy. I've just done a review of the DC one. I actually prefer the DC slightly toned down. It's not so because I always find the Marvel ones quite bright, way too intense. But still, I love them. Absolutely great stories, still great stories. Obviously, you got the Avengers there. And, of course, the Cosmic Cube turns up again. Always very useful. And, of course, this time, at least the Red Skull has at least learned a few things about the Cosmic Cube. Of course, in the previous one, he sort of goes and gets golden armour or something, that sort of stuff, which wasn't probably the best of ideas. Unless you, of course, add super strength to your powers as well. Because, still. And you got the Falcon there, of course. It's an early appearance of Falcon. There's the Cosmic Cube again. And he can do anything he wants. But, of course, as always, limitations always settle in. And he's always got some... He wants to fulfill the Nazi dream. Really. I think he would have had a bit more imagination on that. But still. And on to some of the layouts are great. I really love these stories. Now, some of the villains were not the world's greatest. I mean, I have to say, Suprema, deadliest foe of the species, wasn't a masterpiece, but still had its merits, I suppose. You got captured in Vietnam, obviously that was around that time. And you got obviously S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury turned up quite a few times there. And you can see quite often there was various fights between the two. And on to the next stories. Now, I'm just quickly flicking through this, but you can see obviously you got the Trapster there, of course. I think Trapster turned up a few times. And MODOK, of course. Actually, I just watched wonderful Quantumania with MODOK. That was really weird seeing that. It was not the same MODOK, but it was just great. And, of course, like always with these, I love all the letters pages. Let's wrap with Cap. And, of course, you got the wonderful adverts, which they would include more of those. Don't always include the adverts. That's what I would love to see at the back with the extras. I don't think I'd want them all the way through, unless you actually go properly the comics, but it would be nice if they included all of those sort of additional ones along with the checklists as well as bulletins and all those things. They never do. Instead they put that. Why? They could put a few adverts or something there as well. And you've got another story there. And obviously, we got now the Grey Gargoyle. Good old Grey Gargoyle turns up. And obviously another one of these weird sort of stories here. And on to the next. Red Skull again. And, of course, this one, some great extras there. They're coming, obviously, the Falcon there. And also Captain America there. This is a cover sketch. I love those ones. It'd be nice if they included those, but maybe they've all been lost over time, all sort of destroyed or whatever. But, again, you've got all the issues at the back. Of course, some real classics in this. Some not so many classics. One thing it doesn't include any stories with Captain America in different issues, obviously, other storylines. But that would have been quite good. But still, you got there those. Now that one includes Captain America 114 to 148. So great one. And put that over there. Here's volume 3, just come out as well. Weirdly, they came out about 2 weeks apart. I thought it was a bit extreme. I thought really could have still got this one as well. Just brilliant stories. I love these ones. And this one's 149 to 192. You can see there. And this includes some of the stories that I got when I first started to collect Marvel properly. I collected Marvel, bought the odd issue, but I can't recall which ones I bought back in the 1960s. 1973, 72, I bought that one. That was the first one, Captain America 159. Of course, I did buy a few of the other ones, got them back issues there. Often you'd find those in shops. You'd suddenly find old copies. You think, oh, that's great. I haven't got that one. I will get that one as well. And, of course, we had there Solar and a few other, of course, the Red Skull there again. And also, of course, the Serpent Squad, obviously there, and Yellow Claw, who I didn't particularly know who he was. And, of course, you had the X-Men. Now, I think these ones, I'm not certain, but I think those ones were not distributed in the UK. I think those weirdly, we had the Moonstone storyline, but I think then it just suddenly, I couldn't get them. Maybe that wasn't the case in every place, but certainly for me, that was the place. But always bugged me when they did that in the UK. Suddenly you couldn't find them. You had to go Dark They Were and Golden Eyed. And I picked up quite a few there. Now, you got, obviously, there, he becomes, obviously, a police officer and he's got a storyline. They ran for quite a while. And, of course, got the Stranger. Men Call Me the Stranger, which I always thought was quite weird because he wasn't fully powered, I think, for most of the time. He was sort of like very odd way he could sort of get beaten by quite a few. No, really, the Stranger, I think he would be. He's one of those sort of, obviously, immortal power one characters, like Thanos. Really very hard to beat. And, of course, you've got Dr. Jekyll there. Mr. Hyde, I mean. You know what I mean. And Scorpion. I love that, where he's just going to try and break the shield or whatever. They always try and do that, and of course he never can. And then he gets angry about it, of course, as usual. And then you've got, obviously, more stories there. It's Cap. No, of course not. Captain America and Bucky. How many times I had that storyline with Bucky? Of course, eventually, Bucky did live again. I was always against that storyline in the first place, that Bucky was killed. I never could see the point of that. I suppose it gave a bit of a sort of background that made it just was always thought, really, especially when they sort of did when you knew the Atlas comics as well, completely different, and then they had to retrofit it again with some. And of course got the lots of great little stories again. Shield there, he's fighting Nick Fury. How many times does he fight with Nick Fury? Quite a few times. And of course you've got the Serpent Squad there. I think that's what they call, weren't they? The Serpent, not the Human Cobra. He's one of those characters that could take on Thor in the early days, and then by the end he was like, anyone could take him. And onto some more stories there. They had some really weird stories in this. I did actually enjoy it. Of course, got the Red Skull there again. Got to have the Red Skull and Solar. But you got the Moonstone storylines as well. Love that storyline. And of course, Moonstone. Then you had, of course, the X-Men was in one of the stories. Oh, here's the X-Men. Neil's going to find it somewhere. You can see there, Cyclops there. Ooh, he goes. You're coming with me. Yep. And of course, got Lucifer there as well. Character that obviously was in the X-Men as well. Slings and arrows. I remember that story. You got, of course, you had the Nomad story at this point, I think. And you got some really unusual artwork. I love that artwork. It was the time. It was, who was it? I can't remember. Frank Robbins. Good old Frank Robbins. He did some great work in that period. There, Inferno, and you've got the Serpent Squad again, and Red Skull again, and of course some extras at the back. Always great, of course. Always good to have. And that's always the disappointment I always have with the DC ones. I wish they would include these sort of things. But this obviously, I think, is from probably Fume, I would imagine. Yes, Fume. I had that one. Had Fume. Sadly, I got rid of it. Wish I hadn't. But it's still, I love these sort of ones. Also, the Marvel calendar. I am looking forward to the Abrams Comic Arts one when that's coming out with the calendar. That will be amazing. Now, they've just brought out the 1975 calendar. You can buy this one, apparently. They've done a reprint. But I'm looking forward to the actual calendar book. So that should be absolutely brilliant. Also, actually saying about calendars, I just got the, whatever it's called, Backlight one. Got Marvel Classic Blacklight, whatever it was. Whatever it's called, that calendar. So I'm really looking forward to that. But also, of course, I got another calendar because I thought, Julie Bell one. I really love the artwork from that. So two really great calendars. Of course, it's coming up to that time of year when you start thinking, should I buy a diary or calendar? And I'll probably see some more calendars and I think, you know what? That's a good calendar. Bruce Pennington one. I got one Bruce Pennington one recently and that was just amazing. I'd love to see a few more of those. Here's volume 4. No, it isn't volume 4, unfortunately. They did a weird thing. There is a volume 4. There is a volume 4 book, but this one is Captain America, the Jack Kirby one, Mad Bomb or King Kirby. I'm not even certain what it's actually called, just Captain America, I think. But Jack Kirby. I suppose it's got a name, but you can see, I think their number 193 to 214, also annual, I think it's much the same. Might be a bit of difference, I don't think so. So basically this is volume 4. There is a volume 4 as well. Very confusing, but you can see all the stories that are included. It's fun. I really love this one. Of course, I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed these when Kirby came back. Just brilliant stories, Mad Bomb, as well as, of course, many others. They were just, the artwork was just, I love Kirby's artwork. It was full powerhouse, as always. Just brilliant. Bought most of the issues. And again, I think I don't know if they were readily available or not. Sometimes, I think it was one, can't remember which ones were available or not, but non-distribution sort of thing. Quite often some of the ones didn't always turn up, certainly in my local town. So I didn't get everything, but it was Dark They Were and Golden Knight, of course, or Forbidden Planet, or whatever it was at the time, was a great place to pick up lots of these great stories. And onto some more stories there, and onto some more stories. A whole load of different stories. They were great, full of massive amounts of energy and just inventiveness, as always. The Tiger and the Swine. And can't even read the writing there. Something, Showdown Day. And of course, got that. So that's also got some extras, of course, at the back. Always good. Another bit of Foom, methinks, on that one. Yes, Jack's back. Foom. Didn't get that one, though. That one, I think it was issue, I don't know what issue that was. And of course, a lot of these stories, a couple of stories anyway, have been in a treasury as well, which I think there's a bit of a mention there. There, you can see there the battles there. And of course, you've got some pencil pages, which are always great. I'm looking forward to that collection as well. There's a new pencil one coming out, The Eternals. Actually, I'm surprised they've never brought out ones of Jack Kirby's, ones of Captain America. You'd think they would be still available. Obviously, some things are. So that would be a great collection as well. Who knows? But that's going through Volume 1, 2, 3, and Volume 4-ish volume. There is a Volume 4. So I think, as far as I'm aware, I haven't bought it. But I know that the stories, I think, overlap. Please correct me if I'm completely wrong on that. And, well, I hope you found that of interest. Have you got any of these volumes? Volume 1, Volume 2, I think Captain America stories are great. Now, Captain America is not my mega favourite story, but I've thoroughly enjoyed most of them over the years. Also, I'd love to see some more wonderful ones of the Golden Age. I've got a few Golden Age volumes, obviously 1 and 2. They were great. That was it. No Volume 3, 4, 5. We've obviously got a recent one where they did a sort of update, which I didn't buy. I didn't buy all of them, but I think it covered most of the stories were already in the earlier ones that I've already got, so I didn't get those. But it would be nice. I've got a lovely golden sort of Captain America index book, and it's got all the various Golden Age, as well as obviously the Atlas, as well as the ones in the Silver Age. And I just loved lots of those stories. All worth checking out. I hope you found this of interest. Any thoughts, please let me know in the comments below. Bye.